All right. Hey friends, good to see you again. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty short and sweet kind of call. But Allison and I wanted to keep our part short and sweet so that we could open it up to y'all sharing as well. Because I think the best way for us to grow our business is really learning from each other. And so what I'm going to share tonight is something I actually learned from a Crossline friend. And I think it's so effective and so simple. Okay, in the comments, you guys first, I want to hear who feels like closing their sale is the most difficult part for their business. Or maybe not the most difficult part, but a difficult part of their business. You know, you have like all these really great conversations, and then it comes time to sign up, and you're either word vomiting, or you don't know what to say, or you don't know what to offer them without offering too much information. Like we've all been there. Like we're all there. Like it just becomes really awkward sometimes. So I wanted to share what one of my Crossline friends, what her closing is, because I started adapting that and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And this is what we kind of teach on our team really. So what she does is she doesn't really teach the kit. If she's going to meet up with someone or she's, going to have a class, she takes her little oil bag. I should have brought mine downstairs, but she just brings her little oil bag of like everyday oils that she's using or traveling with or whatever it is. And that's what she brings with her. And she'll go through them. She'll be like, okay, here's Digize, here's Harmony, here's Valor, here's Joy. And she goes through them, whether they're kit oils or not. And she talks through all of them and what they're used for and what they're good for. And the reason that she kind of likes to do this is it takes the pressure off of her from having to carry her kit around. And also, if last minute someone's like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? Like, I'd love to hear about oils. She doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, no, I can't. I got to go home and get my kit. Like, let me do this. Like her strategy never changes. So she always has her oils. And she was like, sometimes I don't even know what's in it. I might have put those in a long time ago, but that's what I use every day, So she talks through all of those oils. And then she tells people, I'm going to write this down on a piece of paper so you guys can see it. She tells them there are 3 options. Okay. So the first option you have right here, this is your first option, is you can buy a kit, or now you can do a 100 PV purchase. So this is your first option. Then she says, your second option is you can get a kit and your 100 PV order. So she does it the same way. And you can get on something called Subscribe to Save. So Subscribe to Save is just Young Living's loyalty monthly subscription box. It's super simple. You earn points back and it's the best. We've been on it for X amount of years. So she doesn't go crazy into detail about what Subscribe to Save is and what loyalty points are. Like she doesn't overcomplicate that. I'm going to put this up here for you guys. Okay. And then she says, and the third option is you can get a kit or make a 100 PV order. You can also get on Subscribe to Save. And then the last option is you can also become a brand partner, where you can share your link and also earn money back to go towards your orders or fill your gas tank or get your groceries for the week. So this is what she does. She shows this to people and she writes it right there in front of them. And she said that the way that this started is she met up with a girl at Panera and she didn't have anything. The girl's like, okay, how do I get started? So she grabbed a napkin and she started writing it down. And the lady was like, wow, that was so simple. Like, that was so simple. Like, what? And so she was like, maybe I'm onto something here. Like, I didn't really mean for that to go like that, but it was so simple. And she said that as she kept doing that with people, I mean, she was almost 100% as far as getting people to sign up with doing that. And she was like, I think that before I was just overcomplicating things. I was giving people too many options, giving them too much information, giving them all the nitty gritty details. She was like, if I just give them this and they say, okay, yeah, that one sounds good to me. Can you tell me more about Subscribe to Save? She was like, then I can go into that. And she said that if people are like, well, what do you recommend? She was like, okay, well, I recommend going with the second option getting your 100 PV order so that you unlock that wholesale discount, but then also put it on some subscribe to save, because that's great that you're making your first order, but you have pain points. So just getting that kit or 100 PV order one time is not going to help those pain points long term. It's a catalyst for that. But getting on subscription and ordering every month and making yourself stay accountable to these goals, that's where you're going to see real life changes happening for you. So I would go with option number 2. And then if you're really loving it, you can always switch over to being a brand partner. So she said this is the least intimidating when she talks it through like that. But then also, you guys, you have to think about fast start. If someone becomes a brand partner in their first month, you're no longer getting fast start on them. So just something to think about. Obviously, if someone's like gung-ho, want to do the business, like don't ever discourage them. But if they're kind of like, I don't really know, like I could go either way, encourage them to love the products. That's what Chelsea did with me. She was like, let me help you use your products, love your products. And, if you want to share, then you can. And I felt like that was really nice, to not have that kind of pressure. But this is that simple enrollment strategy, you guys. That's all she does. She doesn't bring the kit. She just brings the oils that she has every single day. And then once she talks through it, she'll say, okay, these are your 3 options. Which one kind of sounds like it would fit your lifestyle, fit your budget, fit your goals? Which one? And then they pick, and then she talks them through that. And you guys, it's that simple. I mean, when I heard her say that, I was like, that just took so much weight off of my shoulders. Like, it seems so obvious once you hear it, but you're like, that's not what I was doing. So we don't love that. Like, let's get with a simple strategy, and it's worth trying. I mean, you can tweak it to what works for you, but I loved that since. And I think it's been really effective for the girls in my downline that are enrolling. They're using that strategy, and they find it really empowering to not have to carry around all their oils and products. And, then once the person decides which they think is good for them, then you can walk them through picking their 100 PV order or picking the right kit for them based on their pain points. So I hope that's helpful for you guys.
I love it. When you shared with us the other day, I was like blown away. Because I love the best part of that, guys, is that, so you give like the 3 options, right? And I will say that I love that the brand partner option is there too, because I'll be honest, when we first got started, all we had back then was to get the kit and then go from there. So it was like, you've gotten it with a kit and that's it. So, but we also I taught my team as well, like the good, better, best sort of situation, like get the kit, add on a product, get the kit, add on a product, and put it on the subscribe to save, which was called something else back then. But point of my story being is there was never that other option share of the brand partner. But I love that there is now, because now you've just shared that there's an opportunity for the business. You have also kind of glorified that middle one of the subscribe to save, making it kind of like the best of the best. Like, it's not as intimidating as that other one potentially. I mean, we all have been there, that we're like not quite ready to quote unquote sell. And then also, like, it sounds a little bit better than just getting like a couple of things, right? You save money. You don't even have to talk about all those things, and it's there. So I love that, because then you're automatically getting that residual income as well, because you do have to think about yourself in your clothes as well a little bit. So it's just awesome that that's there. Other things, like I love the idea of bringing just like your oils bag. Like, we all carry something, right? Like, even if it's just like your Thieves hand sanitizer wipes and your Thieves hand sanitizer and your Thieves spray, like there's 3 products right there that you could literally talk a boatload about, right? But maybe not word vomit, but and then kind of share it from there. So really just using what you have on hand, that kind of shows the versatility of the products, that shows how easy and simple it is, that shows you and the value that you put into the products, that your excitement will be there because it is like the products that you use every day. So they're easier to close, quote unquote, close as well. If you're nervous about how they might react, some other ideas about closing is to just ask them questions, right? So you can easily kind of like ask them, if they come to you, right, it's a little bit easier. Like, what are you interested in? What are something that you want to target? Or is there a health need or something like that? And then you can give like a few products suggestions for that, but then you go right into that 1, 2, 3 that Jen just showed. It's perfect. Like you could be like, there's a bundle, or you could just kind of grab 100 PV of I would love to help you. Right. And then you also don't have to I say word vomit because I literally do. I won't even pretend to not apologize for that. So I have had to work real hard on that for talking to new people. But just kind of putting it into their court, the ball into their court is really helpful with closing them. Because honestly, if they're coming to you, or they are coming to your class, or they're wanting to meet on a one-on-one, they've already made the commitment. This is like super important for me when I first got started. Because I'm always afraid of like upsetting somebody. It just is who I am. But once I realized that, I think Ashley actually said this once, they're coming to your class, they're coming to meet you, they're coming to a phone call or whatever, they're already committed to learning about it, which means they're already committed to grabbing products. So you don't even have to quote unquote push them or sell them, because they're already there. They made the commitment. They made the executive decision in their head that they're willing to learn about something. Y'all, we're not going to go somewhere if we don't want it, right? Like, we're humans. This is just human nature. So remembering that makes it even easier to kind of not word vomit, just kind of target what their needs are, and then just go into those 3 choices, because it takes out all of the emotions behind it, or the possibility of over pushing or overselling that sometimes I think some of us struggle with. So that's just really important to kind of note. Yeah, Jen, do you want to add anything?
Well, I was going to say that one thing that I've noticed since like this whole thing and getting feedback from girls on my team is that when people are given this 1, 2, 3 options, it doesn't leave that area of like, okay, so like, let me know if you like want to sign up, or like what you're interested in. Like, if people are presented options, they're going to pick an option, most likely, right? Like, a higher percentage that are just going to pick an option, the one that they are most comfortable with, versus like not picking anything at all because there's no options presented to them. So I think that it's definitely worth trying. And I saw Vanessa saying that she was thinking of making this into a graphic for her vendor event. I feel like that is so perfect, because a lot of times at bigger classes or vendor events, you don't have time to thoroughly talk to everyone. And sometimes there's a lot of people there, and it's just easy to be like, okay, these are the 3 options to get started. Which one sounds best to you? And I think that it really does go a lot further in getting people to actually commit when you're giving them these 3 options versus either all of the options, or on the flip side, like no options. Like, hey, just let me know, message me. Like, we all are guilty of doing that. So just give them the 3 options and then wait for them to respond. Don't like start talking again after that. Just give them those options, say which one sounds the best for you, and then let them respond to you.
Love it. So true. So basically, as I said, we were going to kind of keep some of their tips short and kind of straighter to the point. And I just love those options. So how's everyone feeling about that? Like, let's talk it out. Let's jam. Does anyone have anything else to add or questions? I mean, we have a small chunk of time left, so just wanted to open it up. Don't all talk at once, guys. Just kidding. I'm just being silly. Ash, do you want to add anything?
I feel like y'all have covered so much that I'm like, just don't be afraid to meet people where they are. I'm sorry, man. He's no sniffles. I'm like, or maybe it was from yelling at Allison for 13 miles on Sunday. I'm sharing this because I know it's random and y'all probably like it's so relevant, but it's hilarious. Like, it's perfect. One-on-ones with people when you are in a different situation are different than when you're in a coffee shop at their house. And the reason I'm saying that is like today I talked to a girl and it was a one-on-one class. Like, it was a one-on-one class at a field where our kids were running around, like literally at a fun run. It was like an all out, like telling her things, telling her options. And it's natural, but it's different. And so jokingly, the bridge I was making is, Allison, if we had never talked about oils, that would have been the time when I was running beside you and you were mostly happy, but a little bit not very happy with me. So I'm glad we're still friends and I can talk on this soon because there was about 15 minutes that I was like, she is not my friend anymore. She's not going to be my friend. She's not going to work with me. She's not, because she was like not talking. And I was like running backwards and talking to her and she was like not talking to me. I was like getting a beer on the side and like laughing and she was not. She was like all business focused. So when our business focused call tonight, the reason I'm bringing that up and it's so random and out of context, meet people where they are. And this has already been said, but I would just meet people where they are. Like if someone says they don't have time, instead of trying to squeeze in this like coffee date time you think is natural, or squeezing in something that's like, oh, let's go, let's have tea or coffee. Like they don't want to. They can't. It's not in their emotional capacity to do so. They don't maybe need another friend. They need the product. So if you need to meet them in the parking lot of their baseball team or the parking lot of their swim team, or you need to meet them after their kids have a soccer game on Saturday and they're literally going to get Starbucks in their car and they're going to walk up to their car for 10 minutes, do that. Do that. Meet people where they are. And for me, a lot of times it's like not in the middle. It's like me going 90 and then going 10. Because I've already gone far from myself and had someone meet me. And I need to pass that along. And having a voice is super helpful. So I'm sorry that I sound like I don't know what, but I'm trying, guys. For me, the most effective one-on-ones though, have for sure, I would love to say they've been lovely and planned, but when I close them, it's because they're organic and they're like literally like meet me in a parking lot, meet me after first service at church. Like desperate people want solutions and you don't know their issue. You don't know it. They might act desperate for sleep, but really their issue is severe depression. And you don't know that. You're not a doctor. You're not going to cure them. But you don't know. You don't know what they're ready for. And all you can do is offer them what you have and meet them. Meet them. And be excited when you do it. Because I believe, at least for me, God honors that because he sees people and I want to see people. If that's not your jam, absolutely fine. But I trust you as a leader. You want to see people exactly where they are and you want to honor them and you want to say the things they need. Last point, I promise I will not talk anymore since I sound like maybe like a dog, like the cop dog, McGruff. That's what I sound like. You want to see people. I have a friend going through a lot of stuff, but like not heavy, but just stuff. And today I finally told her, I'm like, you're anxious. Like that's this feeling. This is anxiety. I know it. Like I've done it. I have it. I gotcha. So I want you to use energy over your adrenals. I do. I think it'd be so good for you. And this bath bomb, like just put it in the bath tonight. And I promise you'll feel better. Let me know if you don't, but I really think these are for you. So that's not a prospect necessarily, but for me, I did that and it felt weird. So raise your hand if you've ever felt weird when you're like, you should do this to someone. Totally, right? Totally. So when we talk about closing a one-on-one, it's not just closing a prospect. It's like closing them over and over. Because, yeah, Jen, maybe it's really hard. You have a million. Do you have your kids too? Or no? Oh, I thought you had your kids too. Now it's all making sense. I'm like, how is she doing this? So maybe you have, 2 kids or 4 kids or whatever you have, but it doesn't matter the numbers. You're anxious inside because you're worried about the college tuition. Like you're anxious inside because you're worried about like the World War IV that's happened. Like you're anxious and you need someone to see you. You need them to see you. When they see you, they can speak to you. So I would encourage you to be that person, like see people, see them. And when you see them, you will have such a ripeness to, or maybe that word doesn't resonate with you, an awareness to what their next step is, that you're literally there to serve and love and fulfill the part that they're missing from their mental health or physical health or emotional health. So maybe you shouldn't have let me talk, but there you go, guys. Hopefully it helps somebody out there.
No, it was so good. I love that you kind of brought up something I forgot to share. I think the number one thing um, that can help you close, and I'll tell you that I had to practice this, and I still do sometimes, is confidence, right? Obviously, we have confidence in our oils because we use them. Obviously, we have confidence in our products because we use them, but sometimes that confidence gets lost in translation talking to others because again, those emotions kind of like flood in, right? And we just want them to have it because we feel so good and we want them to feel so good. And then sometimes that confidence kind of drags out. So the number one thing to do that will help that close is to give the options, leave everything else out, have confidence that obviously they're going to choose one of those options. You did not give them the option not to choose one. It's not like call me in 4 days or call me next year, right? You just gave the options. They will absolutely say they're not ready, and that's fine. Make a note, and then just kind of just have a relationship with them, make it as natural as possible. And I promise you, those people will come back. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I still have people to this day that I word vomited 6 years ago that call me and go, "I'm ready." So like it happens. It's crazy and it's amazing and it's awesome, but it happens. So just keep kind of sharing and doing your jam and being confident. And the number one thing that if you struggle with that, I'll tell you what I did is I practiced. So I have a commute when I was in Hawaii, and that's when I got started. The close, quote unquote, the close was hard. So I would practice those options. I would literally speak it out loud and make it as natural as possible, because any sort of thing that you're worried that they might feel, sadly, it's going to come out. Like it's just going to come out in our body language. It's going to come out in our voice, our tone. I mean, it's going to come out. They might not read it, but it might come out. So the best way to kind of get it to be like just supernatural and confident, because it is just practice. So whether that looks like in the mirror in the morning or night, or while you're driving, talk to yourself. It's the best thing. And then those options will just fly out. So when you're, hanging out after practice for your kids, or daycare pickup or whatnot it is, I use kid things because that's just where I'm at in my life. Then you can be like, yep, these are the ones I use. And oh my gosh, you're excited. Did you know that there's these 3 options? And then you got it, and it's like that, and it makes it so easy, and it makes it fun. For me, things have to be fun. And when they're easy and confident, and just kind of splur out, that's not even a word. When they kind of come out of your mouth in a natural form, it's more fun. And then you get to have more people in your community. So for that, I think that might be a good way to end. If you guys have any questions, feel free to kind of throw them in the chat, or kind of ask and gather and dwell. I'm sure you're going to get a slew of answers. This is always so much fun to chat with you guys. I hope it was helpful. Jen, thanks so much for doing this with me, and Ashley for sharing. And y'all have a great night. Okay. Bye, guys.